Welcome back to the channel. We're back with our Final Fantasy Commander deck profile for Cloud Midgar Mercenary. For 2 mana, you get a 2/1 where 1 Cloud enters, search your library for an equipment card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. And as long as Cloud is equipped, if an ability of Cloud or an equipment would happen, it happens an additional time. So, we did already do the full power version of this deck on a separate video, but this one's more of a budget-friendly version of the deck. If you do want the full power version, make sure you check out the link in the description or down there in the playlist if I forgot to put in the description. Or ask for a comment if I put in the comments if I forgot to put in the description. But yeah, like I said, this one we're coming in at just under $150, excluding Cloud, because I do expect his price to drop once the set is released, because we are currently dealing with pre-release prices here. But is a really fun deck where we do focus mostly on equipment and what abilities we can get off equipment for as cheap as possible, and ways to just equip cards onto Cloud so that we can get his ability to happen additional times as well. But that's the general overview of the deck. Let's get into it card by card. To start off, we have Adaptive Omni Tool. For each equipped creature, has +1/+1 for each artifact you control. Whenever equipped creature attacks, aka its ability will happen this twice, as long as it's equipped Cloud. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an artifact from among them and put it into your hand. So, we don't necessarily need to search out the artifact we want. Maybe we'll get it off the top 6. Or the top 12, really, based upon this happening twice if it's equipped to Cloud. Arcane Signet will get us a little bit of mana. Argentum Armor. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, destroy target permanent. A little bit of removal there. This one does have a high equip cost of 6, but as you'll see in some later cards, we don't necessarily care about the equip cost of spells in this deck. Bludgeon Warrior's Battle Axe. Whenever a equipped creature deals damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of Bloodforged Battle Axe. aka, we get 2 copies with Cloud Midgar Mercenary. So we keep equipping these onto Cloud. We can keep on creating more and more copies. We keep doubling and doubling and doubling, because it's what's it called? You get another copy for every copy that's equipped to this creature, essentially. You don't necessarily need to equip them all onto separate creatures. But we get 2 more for each one that's equipped onto them. So we start off with 1, we get up to 3, then we get up to 2 more for each of those, so we get up to 9 after that, and then so on and so forth. Champion's Helm. Equipped creature is +2/+2 as long as equipped creature is legendary. It has hexproof. We do also need just some protection for Cloud. While we do like him entering again and again, we do want to make sure he could swing in without being destroyed every time. Colossus Hammer. Equipped creature is +10/+10, loses flying. I mean, he's not flying to begin with, so we don't really care about that part. It does have equip 8, but like I said earlier, we don't necessarily care about that part of things. And make him into a 12/11, allowing it to make sure it only takes 2 hits to swing in for commander damage now. Explorer's Scope. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped. If it's not, just leave it there. It has equip 1, but we get to do that twice, so, I mean, if it's still not a land, it's still not a land, but we could look at it a second time. Great Sword is here. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So we're going to get those 2 +1/+1 counters and tap up to 1 target creature defending player controls. So those are 2 creatures we're going to get to tap rather than just 1. We love to see it. Allows us to swing in a little bit easier. And it's only 35 cents there. Lightning Grease allows us a little bit of protection, making sure we can swing in with Cloud right away as well. Mask of Memory. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw 2 cards. So we'll deal damage, discard a card, draw 2. Well, do the opposite way around. And then we draw 2 more, and we discard another one. So we drew 4, discarded 2, allowing us a net positive of 2. Technically net positive 1 if you include Mask of Memory, but we don't necessarily need to include that in there, because this happens like every turn, potentially. Masterwork of Ingenuity. When this enters the battlefield, have it become a copy of your favorite equipment. You know, maybe we have it become a copy of Colossus Hammer, and now he's a 22/21. Super strong there. Mjolnir, Stormhammer. Enters the battlefield, attach it to legendary creature control, aka Cloud. Whenever a creature attacks, attacks tap target creature. I thought I said up target creature for some reason. Tap target creature defending player controls. Same thing as Great Sword that's here. We're gonna be tapping 2 target creatures, putting those stun counters on them. I wonder, does it put 2 stun counters onto each of them though? I don't actually know how that would work now that I think about that. Then Mjolnir deals damage to each opponent equal to the number of tapped creatures the opponent controls. I think it does. I know it does deal double the damage, but I think it does do the 2 stun counters on it, because it is a double effect, and putting the stun counter on it is separately warded. Maybe. Rogue's Gloves, leave it down there in the comment section if you know how that works. Rogue's Gloves, when a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. A little bit of draw power. We get to draw those 2 cards. Soul Ring for some additional mana there. Swiftfoot Boots, same as Lightning Greaves, that protection, making sure Cloud can swing the turn he comes down. Sword of Forge and Frontier, probably the card you're going to want to search out with Cloud's ability. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of the library. You may play those cards this turn. You may play an additional land this turn. Okay, exile the top 4. You play those. And you play... I guess you could play 2 additional lands with that as well. There's a lot of like weird rulings with this card, I feel, that are going to end up happening. Just because of the way like some equipments are worded. I think it's still... Yeah, I think you get 2 additional. Well, it's not... Yeah. It's not a triggered ability, so no, I don't think you get that actually. So you only get the 1 additional. Sword of Vengeance. Equip creatures +2/+0, first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. Once again, making sure Cloud can swing the turn he comes out. Vigilance, first strike, trample are all good abilities there as well. Dot Vessel, we're going to need a little bit of extra mana every so often. Duran Power Suit, +1/+1 for each aura and equipment. We have 20 total artifacts, which I think 17 are equipments. Yeah, because we have we have Arcane Signet, Soul Ring, and Dot Vessel. Those are the only 3 that aren't. So yeah, that's potentially a +17/+17 with Ward 2. It doesn't happen twice, but it's still just a good ability to make sure we can swing with that. Combat damage with Cloud. All we need is that and Sword of Vengeance in order to get to 21 damage for commander damage. And, all of our other equipment's on the battlefield. But we're going to ignore that part. Trailblazer Boots. Equipped creature has non-basic land walk. Technically, most games someone's going to have at least 1 non-basic land. So we're going to have at least 1 person we can swing in on. Whether that's the person we actually want to swing in on, or we want to make a deal where I won't swing on you, and instead I'll swing on this person, we could make that deal instead. Arden, Intrepid Archaeologist. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may attach any number of auras or equipments to target permanent, aka equip everything you control to Cloud, meaning so he can swing in for all that damage. Brass Squire. Attach target equipment you control to target creature you control. Like I said, with these cards like these, we don't necessarily care about the equipment cost. Where cards that say, I don't know, maybe equip, why am I missing where Colossus Hammer is? There it is. Equip 8 is now equip 0, essentially. Cloudseer Kieran, reconfigure 5, which is basically equipped for 5. Equip creature is flying, you can't lose the game, and your opponent can't win the game. So, makes it so that we stay around a little bit longer, even if we lost all of our health already. Codsword, Handy Helper, some additional mana, cast some additional artifact spells, or you can attach an equipment for free. Get around that Colossus Hammer ability. Down to Capation Paragon, making it so that some abilities like the Explorer Scope is like free, Bloodforged Battle Axe is free to cast, or something that was originally 2 mana is now 1 mana. We love to see it. Down to Benalia's Hope. Deal with it? How do we deal with Vandal Blast? We get them back from the graveyard. Or, even if they just targeted 1 thing, we get that 1 back from the graveyard at least. Foundry Inspector. Once again, some cost reduction in the stack, really helpful. Helitrooper. Whenever this creature attacks, another target creature you control gains flying till end of turn, allowing us to get a little bit of extra damage in with Cloud. And also equip abilities cost 2 less, so that's most of these. Equip 2, equip 4s. Mass Memories equip 1, Lightning Greaves equip 0 already. Equip White. Yeah, I think that's most of the abilities though. Leonin Abunas. Artifacts you control have hexproof, making so that our opponent can't just, destroy target artifact or enchantment. They can't just get rid of all of our equipments. Leonin Shikari. You may activate equip abilities anytime you would cast an instant. So, maybe our opponent swings in on us, and they forget that we have this card on the battlefield. You should normally remind them. I think it's only appropriate, but, say if you do remind them and they still decide to swing in, you could give Cloud +2/+0 with Bloodforged Battle Axe, or if you have 8 mana, you could do Colossus Hammer. Also, same thing with Brass Squire, where you could do that during your opponent's turn, because it's a tap ability. And it doesn't say only at sorcery speed. Loyal Warhound. We're going to need some additional ways to get some mana out of our deck, so let's do it with Loyal Warhound. Mangara, the Diplomat. Whenever an opponent attacks with creatures, if 2 or more of those creatures are attacking you or a planeswalker you control, I get to draw a card. If they cast their second spell each turn, draw a card. A little bit of draw power helps out a whole bunch in this deck. Pure Steel Paladin, making so that our equip abilities are 0, doesn't necessarily have to tap, and whenever an equipment enters, we get to draw a card. So, attach Lightning Grease for free, you know. Solemn Simulacrum for an additional land out of the deck. Stram Senior Edificer, I always mess that one up. Whenever you cast an or equipment, draw a spell. Draw power is super nice in this deck. Voyager Quick Welder. Artifact spells cost 1 less to cast. You know, free Masterwork of Ingenuity. 1 mana for Trailblazer Boots. Zach Fair. Say if you didn't have an equipment onto the cloud and you put on Zach Fair, you could put that +1/+1 counter and that equipment onto the cloud now. You know, maybe the Buster Sword. Spoiler. At Awen, Lady of Rohan, at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature of your choice gains first strike or vigilance until end of turn, normally vigilance. If that creature is equipped, it gains first strike and vigilance until end of turn, which is probably going to be the situation for most of this because we have 20 equipments. And equip abilities cost 1 less to cast, so, you know, rather than pay 4 mana to cast and equip Trailblazer Boots, if we have this and Voyage Quick Welder, 1 to cast, 1 to equip, 2 mana total. Love to see it. Let's scroll on over to the second half of the deck. There we go. Could have done it earlier. Enchantments, we have Forge Anew. And there's the battlefield. Return target equipment from your graveyard to the battlefield. A little bit of recursion's really nice in this deck. As long as it's your turn, you may activate equip abilities anytime you would cast an instant. So you can't do it during our opponent's turn, but say we're swinging in, our opponent forgets, same thing as that one that gave them flash a little bit earlier. Cigar's Aid, same thing. Use equip abilities as though they had flash. Get them out of our hand as if they had flash. What flash means is that, you know, cast it during our hand on our opponent's turn, essentially. Anytime we cast an instant, which an instant you can cast during your turn or your opponent's turn. Blacksmith Skill. Target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible at end of turn. If it's an artifact creature, it gets +2/+2. You know, just a little bit of protection there for Cloud. But, you know, also if they try to get rid of our Colossus Hammer, we have a way to protect Colossus Hammer. Disenchant, destroy target artifact or enchantment. You know, maybe our opponent's also running a equipment deck. We get rid of those. Or just, you know, they're... I don't know. I couldn't think of an artifact or enchantment for some reason. Get rid of Soul Ring. There you go. Or the Arcane Signet. Dispatch. Exile target creature. As long as you have 3 or more artifacts, which we have 20. We're going to have 3 more at a certain point. Especially because we could search 1 out with Cloud. And he's only 2 mana, so we're going to get that super quick. Generous Gift for some removal of anything. Lauren's Escape. Target creature gains hexproof and indestructible. Making so that little bit of protection there for Cloud. And also in theory, we could also protect one of our equipments again, because it says target artifact or creature. Mana Tide, you know, no one ever expects a white counterspell, so maybe we just tripped them up a little bit with that Mana Tide. Pet Exile for some removal, Rebuff the Wicked, another white counterspell, counter target spell attack, that targets a permanent you control. Say if they were trying to pet Exile our Cloud, now they're not. Slash of Light. Deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control, plus the number of equipments you control to target creature. It's going to be a removal of something. I mean, with how many artifact equipments we have, super helpful there. Stroke of Midnight, another source of removal. Same with Swords of Plowshares, where we're getting a little bit of removal there as well. And then Plains. We're in mono white. We needed some way to limit the budget a little bit, so we didn't run some of the fancier lands that you could run. But like I said, check out the other video if you want more details on that. Austere Command for board wipe, Brilliant Restoration. This way, if they board wiped our artifacts, we get them all back. Cleansing Nova, another board wipe, cut a deal. You know, everyone gets to draw a card. We get to draw 3 cards. Love to see it. Divine Reckoning. Each player chooses a creature they control. Destroy the rest. We're gonna choose maybe Cloud, maybe not Cloud, depending if we need to search something else out. Open the armory, search for an equipment. We don't have any auras in here, but we could. Promise of Loyalty. Each player chooses a creature, sacrifices the rest. Well, no. Can't tag. Yeah, sacrifices the rest. For some reason, I was destroy the rest for a second, but nope, much better with the sacrifice the rest, allowing us to, you know, get rid of things that get around the indestructible ability. Savine's Reclamation, allowing us to get out our artifacts that they destroyed back from the graveyard. Slash Ranks, destroy all creatures on planeswalkers except for commanders. We're going to keep Cloud around. Nothing else. We don't need them. Steel Shaper's Gift, search for an equipment. And then Vanquish the Horde. Spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy all creatures. It's basically Blast from Attack, but in white. But that's the deck there. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll also be covering the other Final Fantasy commanders shortly. Make sure you stay tuned for that. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a good day.